Hello and welcome to another exciting Rich Alvarez live stream. Today we're going to be talking about our top 10 games that we want to see either have a trailer or at least some news happen at the upcoming E3 2021 digital event. It's going to be a little bit more involved than last year's E3, but it will still be a digital event. And I am joined by special guest, video game insider Garrett Allen.
I am a subject matter expert. Respect me.
All right, we're just going to jump right into it with some teases. A lot of this stuff we got in 2018 and 2019 or even before, and we have no news and no new trailers as of yet. First off, let's start with the Bethesda game Starfield. Let's take a look at this so-called reveal from 2018's E3. Boy, oh boy, that sure is a space and a planet.
You know, see, Richie, I'm never really one to, I don't know. I'm not super into sci-fi personally.
Oh yeah?
I'm not like super into sci-fi, but I might be willing to give that one a chance, if only because of, you know, the namesake attached to it.
Now, Garrett is being incredibly ironic.
I'm being sarcastic to the point of being disingenuous. Is what's up. I love
isn't
sci-fi.
it fair to say, yeah, sci-fi is your favorite?
It's my favorite. I live for sci-fi, man.
So, yeah, this was, 3 years ago they announced this, and, you know, it's promised to be something akin to, you know, Elder Scrolls in space. You know,
Elder Scrolls formula brought to a relatively hard sci-fi environment, yeah. Which
we kind of already got, you know, with Outer Worlds. They beat them to the punch.
Well, that's the thing. Is like, I don't know. Are we looking at something that's going to be? Because Outer Worlds still, really, at the end of the day, didn't have much to do with space. It was just set on these different planets and whatnot. If this game has like things that you do inside starships and like, you know, traveling to planet to planet is a thing, then like, yeah, then at that point it becomes a little bit more of a space RPG.
Right.
But God, man, it's such a cool premise, but boy, oh boy, if he just received absolutely zilch for news on this. It's been complete and total radio silence, other than the fact that it is, one, still happening, and two, definitely made by Bethesda, and right. Will contain at least one star and at least one space station.
Right. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I'm looking forward to whatever it is, but you know. Anyways, on to our next game. Continuing
I was going to say, have you even like given your general idea of like what? Never mind. I'll leave this for the end.
Sure. Anyways, continuing the trend of Bethesda giving us nothing to work with, here's the trailer for Elder Scrolls 6.
Spoiler alert, folks. It's very similar, at least in terms of its scope.
Bethesda Game Studios presents another undetailed landscape. Actually, it's pretty detailed, but you know what I mean. It's like it gives us no information.
I was gonna say it looks incredible. It's because it's gonna be like a next generation game. Surprise! But I was surprised that this Elder Scrolls trailer failed to even give us context on what the next, where in one, like either the history or the region.
Just in case you missed it, that's the title. So, just like the Starfield trailer, we get a background and a title screen, and literally that's it. And this probably took them a couple of days to make.
Beautiful, pre-rendered environments with absolutely no hints as far as like where they are located.
I guess they're just
the Elder Scrolls 6 title, yeah.
They're gonna update the Morrowind engine for the 10th time to give us Elder Scrolls 6.
Nice. I feel like I have seen a little bit more in the way of like, you know, there's actually some stills online. You can like You could search around and find some stills as far as like where they're at as far as like engine development, which is still an absolutely rock hard nothing to go on, but somehow leagues ahead of what we have to speculate on as far as Starfield is concerned. So
Right. All right. Well, that's Elder Scrolls 6. I mean, I love Skyrim. It's one of my favorite games of all time. So, and I also like Oblivion, and I mean, I like the Elder Scrolls in
these
general.
are both been highly anticipated games. Is this the last of the Bethesda games that you're talking about here?
Yes, this is the end
So
of Bethesda.
backing up then, like, and this is going to be the theme of everything having to do with this this year's E3. Obviously, we're still in a panini. Obviously, there is still the panorama, the good old pandemic, and development. I imagine very specifically like media development has probably been one of the most hampered industries by all of this. But what has Bethesda been up to for the last 3 years?
Elder Scrolls Online.
I thought that was ZeniMax that was like took like was doing all that.
Yeah, I get. I mean, it's not the internal development team. It's true. So, anyways, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. They've been working on these games apparently.
Okay, cool. I mean, like, I'm just wondering because, like, obviously, if they've been up to something big and now they're just getting to this, then, like, I wouldn't anticipate that there's going to be a lot of development. But I don't know, man. It feels like it's been a long time since we got any Elder Scrolls, any knowledge here whatsoever, and I don't want to hold out hope for the idea that literally the E3 in the middle of the pandemic, when development is at its absolute hardest. But yeah, I agree with you in the sentiment that it would be really nice to see or hear anything about any of these games, considering we know essentially flat out nothing outside of their titles.
Cool. All right, now with that said, let's move into some speculative territory here.
Good. This is where I thrive.
And we're going to start with our good old boy, Metal Gear Solid. Here's some footage from the original PlayStation Classic. So there's been a lot said about Konami in general, whether it be Silent Hill, Castlevania, but, my favorite out of all of them is Metal Gear out of Konami games. David Hayter, the original voice of Solid Snake, has even come on record to say, very recently that there is something going on with a Metal Gear Solid remake, and that, with the recent kind of hidden news that Sony has licensed Metal Gear. Now, this is very important to understand. Konami, although they don't really make a whole lot of video games these days, if at all, they're just busy making pachinko, whatever the machines are in Japan, they still want to own the rights to these games. However, licensing is different. And what licensing means is that they give a contract to another company for a certain amount of time to make games based on their property. And as of right now, Sony has bought I think it's a non-exclusive 10-year license. And the rumor is that they have hired the same company that did the Dark Souls or Demon Souls remake to do a Metal Gear Solid remake, and that somehow David Hayter is involved. Whether that means he's the voice of Solid Snake or not, I don't know. But
you play that Demon Souls remake?
I have not touched it yet. No.
Okay, cool. It's probably one of the most beautiful like visual experiences that I have ever witnessed in film, media, or anything. It is Demon Souls 1 for 1, and I both applaud and question a lot of their decisions as far as just porting the game, bugs and all, like and like weird exploits and all, just like straight in. But I think that was their best way to. I would imagine, probably to your happiness, that if that is the company that's handling the Metal Gear remake, I would expect that mechanically speaking, you are going to get a game that is extraordinarily similar to how Metal Gear 1 played.
That's what I want. I think that Metal Gear Solid is a perfect game. It just now suffers from, well, look at these horrible polygons.
I know. I mean, it was incredible at the time. There was no other games that had like this sort of like really consistent, like narrative style and like visual appeal going on. But yeah, this is like very, very, very old video game at this point, and would really, really benefit from a bit of a facelift.
Right. I should state, because of anybody yelling at me in the comments here, they did remake this a few years later after the PlayStation version with the GameCube version, the Twin Snakes. However, I have a lot of issues with that, like especially going into first-person mode kind of ruins the boss battles. And they basically just imported all of the game mechanics from Metal Gear Solid 2 into Metal Gear Solid 1.
The voice acting is what you always complain about the
That,
most.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna get to that. Yes, also the voice acting. It's mostly the same voice actors, but for some reason they don't do as good a job. I don't know if they got lazy or if they thought since the animation was better they needed to put less into it. But you go from, like, for example, this right here, Colonel, now he's dead too, to like, Colonel, now he's dead too. And like, that might not bother some people, but I liked the extreme emotion going on in the voice acting in the original, and I really hope they bring that back to whatever remake. And needless to say, if this Sony rumor pans out to not be true, one way or another, at some point in the future, we're gonna get a Metal Gear Solid remake because it's one of the most popular games of all time. So whether or not we hear any news at E3, I don't know, but I would hope to see it. Anyways, more speculative news. I'm just going to show some footage from Jedi Fallen Order, since that's like the most recent well-made Star Wars game here. So it's been, it's another big thing, and actually this is more than a rumor. You can look this up even on like Wikipedia. Ubisoft has acquired a non-exclusive license for Star Wars games after EA's 10-year agreement with Disney has finally ended, and praise be to the gods of gaming that
we got so much out of 10 years of exclusivity.
And, yeah, and by so much you mean not at all. So
yeah, we got how many honest to God Star Wars games do we get? Do we get 4?
Maybe 4, yeah. And a lot of mobile games.
You realize, and I know you know this, like, for context, everybody, we used to get 4 Star Wars games a year back when LucasArts was doing it. And were they all good? No.
Most of them
were a lot of them were very bad. But here's the thing, we were getting 4 a year. Even if one of them was good, that's still 10 times as many good, meaningful games than we got before. It's just like a matter of quantity. And I understand that AAA games and modern games are harder to develop, especially when they look like this. And Jedi Fallen Order, I actually think, was a phenomenal video game.
Oh, it's a great game, but that's like the one good game out of the last 10 years of EA. I'm not the biggest Battlefront person. Squadrons is okay.
It's just like it's a little niche, like not everybody's out there like looking for like a really like high end first person locked like X-Wing combat simulator that is predominantly tailored to a multiplayer audience.
All right. Well, let's get to the point. We all know that Disney or that EA mishandled the Star Wars license, and Disney understands that, and that's why they're not renewing their contract with EA. So they're giving Ubisoft a non-exclusive license, and they are working on a huge open world Star Wars game. Whatever that turns out to be, sounds great.
That's great and they will have a huge they'll have a lot to live up to and big shoes to fill, because people have been talking about and speculating about and like dreaming of the great Star Wars open world RPG for God, literally as long as they've been making open world RPGs, as far as I can tell. I mean, I remember people like when Skyrim and Oblivion, were out when we were much younger, people would be like, oh yeah, this would be really cool in like the Star Wars environment. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, cool. And then like, basically it must be incredibly difficult, very complex, and just insane from like a licensing and development standpoint, because no one has been able to like step up to the task. Every single time those games get confined to development hell or just like fail to launch. So Ubisoft's got a real opportunity here in the idea that if they can deliver on something that has been kind of festering in the hearts and minds of Star Wars fans for, like the better part of 2 decades, then that will change Star Wars games as we know it. However, these are big shoes to fill.
Right. Yeah, well, we're going to have a lot of open world space games here in the form of whatever this Ubisoft game ends up being, and Starfield, and then if we get an Outer Worlds 2, which, that is also on my list of anticipated news and or trailers at E3 2021, but that seems a little less likely, because, we've heard nothing. But, we haven't heard anything about a lot of this stuff either, so who knows? But I would love an Outer Worlds 2. I loved Outer Worlds 1. Of course, it was made by a lot of the team that brought us New Vegas, Fallout New Vegas, and I love me some New Vegas. In fact, a New Vegas remake or sequel also is kind of a possibility now that Microsoft owns Bethesda, because Microsoft also owns... whatchamacallit, the studio that made New Vegas.
Obsidian. You're thinking of Obsidian Entertainment.
Obsidian Entertainment. Microsoft now owns Obsidian and Bethesda, so we could see a New Vegas remake or sequel at some point in the future as well. Dipping into even more speculative territory. And by the way, guys, I forgot to mention this earlier, but if there's a game you guys want to see at E3 that you want us to talk about, because I mean, literally anything could happen at E3, and I can't think of them all, but if there's something you want us to talk about here that I haven't covered yet, that's what your good old friend Super Chat is for. So just
I was going to say, not only that, it's just such a weird year for E3. And for really the games industry as a whole has just been, suffered through probably some of its biggest challenges that any of us have been alive to witness since, I don't know. I think it's fair to say the video game industry was in hot, deep water and in a bad place, coming into the early 90s. Fair?
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, we're into kind of some territory like that right now, but video games is this huge industry before, but yeah, the pandemic's done a number on this whole thing. So good news, we could see almost anything, and it's the season of remakes. So to that point, let's talk about the one that's never going to happen, Rich.
So this is footage from Chrono Resurrection, by the way. This was a fan-made remake of Chrono Trigger that never was released, of course. We got some footage like this, because Square Enix gave them a big old cease and desist, which I kind of hate because I like how other companies like Sega, not only do they love when people make their own Sonic the Hedgehog games, they full-on hired a bunch of people that made those fan-made Sonic games to make Sonic Mania, one of the greatest Sonic games in the last 10 years. So it really chips my ass when when Square Enix gives a cease and desist order to these guys that were obviously making a very loving remake of Chrono Trigger, which is my favorite game of all time. And look at, they redid the opening here. Obviously now this even looks outdated since they were basically working with PS2 tools and stuff. But man, I would just love to see a Chrono Trigger remake. And if they're gonna bother to keep giving cease and desist to people that are trying to make their own remake, why don't they just remake it themselves? In fact, we have a great template already if you guys have played Octopath Traveler, it's like a 2D game with 3D backgrounds that move and that looks really cool. If you look at, I'm not going to look it up right now for you, but if you look up Octopath Traveler, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You could remake Chrono Trigger. Heck, you could remake Final Fantasy VI with that, and it would be awesome. Or we could get a fully 3D Chrono Trigger remake like they were attempting to do here, and that would also be awesome. But man, oh man, do I really just want some form or another of a Chrono Trigger remake. It would be dope. And that is the super speculative right there. And you could apply this same, I really want X this in this era and this format for just about any old game that hasn't seen the light of day for a while.
Yeah, I was going to say, for context, everybody in chat, me and Glazer were encouraging Richie just before chat started to pick one game that probably would never happen in 1,000 years, and there's literally no reason to suggest that it would. And this is it. This is it right here. And what sucks too is because this game is ripe for a very, 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 very good remake in a way that just few other franchises are from a technological perspective. But unfortunately, because of so many other really great titles, they're just locked behind a licensing agreement that just won't budge. So
okay, well, we got our first super chat in the form of EDMG7 saying, "Are there still rumors of KOTOR remakes?" Yes,
there are still rumors.
There are still rumors. I mean, there's always going to be rumors. It's a fantastic game. So as you guys may or may not know, BioWare, who developed Knights of the Old Republic, it's not the same company anymore, and there's a lot of reasons for that. If you played,
they exist in a way that we would recognize them as BioWare.
If you ever play, they made, Knights of the Old Republic, they made Jade Empire, they made Mass Effect, and if you ever played, what was it, Mass Effect Andromeda, was that the latest one?
That was the most recent.
You can see right away what's going on with BioWare, which is that they have lost their touch.
What insane, Andromeda was pushed out, in a calendar year by largely the B team, running on, interns, and it's it couldn't have been a lower priority for them.
Right. I mean, that said, there is always the possibility of another company, coming in and remaking it. I mean, basically, the game is already there. It could just be what we expect with other remakes, like the Demon's Souls remake. It could just be Knights of the Old Republic with better graphics. Somebody could.
I've been thinking about what if we saw Knights of the Old Republic go to Larian. Larian Studios, who is currently doing Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay, yeah.
And instead of it being like a third-person party RPG, be like an isometric party RPG a la the Baldur's Gate series. Thought that one might be fun. But who knows? I would love anything about KOTOR. Obviously, it's a huge favorite amongst so many other people. And if Disney is hesitant to create more non-canon content, then they should give us something to work with. Fuck, man, I'd like, I don't know. You think we're gonna see? You think we have any hope of seeing, like, not necessarily a Mandalorian game, but something like set in that, like, in that time frame, in sort of that like lawless West that they've established after the fall of the Empire?
I mean, probably cool. At some point.
Who knows, man?
I had to search because I'm looking for I'm looking for this Kerbal Space Program 2 cinematic trailer, which is awesome.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah, so
such a bummer that there's like just not a lot happening with that game. I'll talk about Kerbal while you look for that.
Right. Well, I just found it. Anyways, we got another super chat from Stupid Beagle Reviews. Thank you so much. Says, just got here, lol, hope to see some Nintendo. And yes, I am going to get to a Nintendo game in just a moment. But first,
I was going to say, we have a few Nintendo titles.
We're going to talk about Kerbal Space Program 2, which, well, this trailer is from 2019, but we're going to watch it as Garrett talks about all the problems this game has.
Excuse you, this game is going to be great.
I mean, it will eventually, but talk about the problems.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, it's just one of those things. Like, Kerbal Space Program 1 was obviously this huge cult hit. It amassed, like, this tremendous following of people. I am literally playing it right now as we are recording this. I love Kerbal Space Program. I have about 1,000 hours invested in it. I've learned just so much from the game and from the community that... It's like reframed how I think about space in real life and like rekindled an interest that I really had in childhood. Very, very special and good game. Very meaningful game as far as I'm concerned. So now, but I shouldn't get ahead of myself. So now we've got this announcement that they're making a second game. And this is great because Kerbal Space Program 1 is tied down by some really hard limitations. It was... Despite its extreme modability and, you know, just the versatility of the engine it was built in, it has proven basically impossible to get stable in a multiplayer environment. And there's only so much that we can do kind of with the base game here. So it's really, really nice that, like, Kerbal Space Program 2 is going to have, like, base building as a, as something that's built in from the get-go. It's going to have multiplayer that's built in as something from the get-go. And that they're reframing this entire experience as something that's just more polished, has way more content that people have installed mods in order to do. It's going to have ground-up, sort of, like, support for things like multiplayer. And it's really going to take this franchise into, sort of a level of sort of what is it, like acceptability or accessibility is the word that I'm looking for, that so many other franchises have already seen. And this is an amazing, amazing thing that's happening. However, game's stuck in development hell. There's just like not a lot happening. The original developers named Squad are no longer in charge of the project. It went to a group of individuals that, seemed up to the task in the form of Private Division. But Private Division has had layoffs. Private Division has had their own version of kind of logistical challenges facing the development of it. And while the game is, one, very much still in development, which I'm happy to see, and two, Private Division, to their immense credit, continues to put out regular updates on the status of the game and the status of the development. It unfortunately is just very clearly so not far along. It's like very, very pre-alpha footage that they're talking about.
Well,
which sucks because they were talking about trying to release this game late last year.
Right, yeah. Well, hopefully, because Kerbal Space Program, the original, is great, that they won't release this game until it's perfect. And I have full hope, and I have what's the word? I know that it's going to be a great game when it comes out. It's just taking a long time.
Yeah,
I have a lot of faith in it.
I have faith that they'll pull this together. We just got to be patient. And would I like to see would an E3 sort of like feature Would that make me happy? That absolutely would make me happy, especially considering this is a development team that's been pretty good about, sort of like benchmarking and making YouTube posts about their content and whatnot. It would seem like they are uniquely poised to have something at E3. I don't know.
Marty Man super chats and says, "I bet you like this Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. Do we have? Is the Skywalker Saga as a whole, is that Lego Star Wars out yet, or is that still upcoming? I don't know. I haven't played a Lego Star Wars game since PS2, so I don't know.
The Skywalker Saga came out. Did it already come out? I think it came out this year.
Well, I don't know, but yeah. I'm gonna play some Lego Star Wars for a stream at some point, whether it be on Twitch or YouTube. I don't know, but anyways, yeah. So. Yes, we got another super chat. You should see it on the screen here in a second from Ikaram the Cyborg.
A very generous super chat by Ikaram.
Well,
so thank you. That's right. It's not American currency. I keep forgetting.
It's $20 in SEK, which equals about $4 in US dollars. Yes. Which is still great.
Very generous super
and Ikaram says, "What about Breath of the Wild?" Well, I'm so glad you asked. That's the next thing.
I was gonna say, shout out to the 5 other people who also were like, Breath of the Wild. All
right, we're done talking about Kerbal, so let's move on to the game that is known to Nintendo. This trailer came out. This trailer came out, of course, in 2019, like so many other things on our list. It's of course just a pre-rendered video, so they probably didn't do any gameplay at the time. But this trailer was just called Sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I'm sure this is gonna have its own name, but I don't know. Looks cool. Looks like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I enjoyed the fact that we were actually seeing some of Zelda, and Link doing stuff. I like the fact that there was enough there for it to kind of establish, the very, very, very spooky Ganondorf problems that we are going to be facing down in this Breath of the Wild sequel. And, this is great. Obviously, Breath of the Wild was amazing. It was amazing. Even people who don't feel like it's the strongest Zelda game out there, I personally do feel it. It is my personal favorite of the Zelda franchise. Everybody wants more Breath of the Wild. I think that's very fair to say. So the idea that, we could get more information in that regard would be great. I don't think, this is... Of course this would be a good thing. And at this point, this is probably one of the ones that if I don't hear anything about it from this E3, I'm going to be a little bit bummed. I'm going to be, it's going to be like...
Yeah, I definitely think that we're getting some kind of news this year, because Nintendo is apparently having a big showcase this year.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But anyways, yeah, Breath of the Wild, it's one of my favorite Zelda games, and I think this looks like it's going in a darker direction, so I would say it's kind of akin to like how Majora's Mask was basically running on the Ocarina of Time engine, but it was a darker game. So this will be...
how I feel about Majora's Mask.
Yeah, I know how you feel about it. I think it's great. It's just not as good as Ocarina of Time. Anyways.
I think Majora's Mask blows Ocarina of Time out of the water, and Richie crucifies me for it, so...
Yeah, anyways, we got another super chat from Razabra. Razabra. And Razabra says, "Hopefully you guys touch on Hogwarts Legacy." Now, I wasn't gonna talk about Hogwarts Legacy, but since you brought it up and you super chatted, now I will. I don't think we have any footage or anything. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we don't have anything on this game other than an announcement that they were working on the game and that J.K. Rowling is not involved. That's a big selling point on the website. It's like, J.K. Rowling, creator of Harry Potter, not involved.
I am not a big Harry Potter fan, so as a result, this one isn't on my radar in the way that it would be for a lot of other people, but certainly I'm very empathetic to people who are looking for and hungry for information on this game, because I feel you, because here, a lot of these games that I really, really love, particularly these Elder Scrolls games and Kerbal Space Program 2, we've been in this big information drought for a long time because of, the fact that so many projects are in development hell right now, a development purgatory.
Right. Well, just so you know... Well, sorry, you finish.
I was going to say, Harry Potter is very similar to that whole, like... I put it right in that lexicon with, like, Star Wars and a lot of these other, sort of, like, franchises where it's like, this franchise has a fan base that has been hungry for an open-world, open-ended RPG experience for a long time. That's just true. That's like obviously like me being a big Star Wars fan, I've been dreaming of the open world Star Wars RPG for years. I can only imagine that Harry Potter fans, who also happen to be video game fans as well, are also hungry for this open, for like an open ended experience in the next generation. And I'm happy that you guys are going to see maybe get a chance at realizing that, because it is a franchise that could probably do really well with the with that kind of format.
Okay, so for all three of you who unsubscribed because Garrett said he wasn't a Harry Potter fan, I apologize on his behalf. And
I think that was a very kind and open-ended and open-hearted assessment. Okay?
I was a huge Harry Potter fan, especially when the books. I read the books when they came out and watched all the movies. Obviously Harry Potter has not been in the limelight like it used to, especially since the Fantastic Beasts movies are hot garbage. But yeah, what they're telling us about Hogwarts Legacy sounds cool. You'll be able to go to Hogwarts, learn some spells, and then take those out into the open world and cause some havoc to some trolls and whatnot. It's promising. Not that this will be what it ends up being, but it's promising to be Skyrim Harry Potter. Just like Breath of the Wild was Skyrim Zelda.
Yeah.
So if that sounds good to you,
we live in a post Skyrim world where everything is defined on its relation to Skyrim and Dark Souls.
Talos! Anyways, we got another super chat from Stupid Beagle Reviews that says, Garrett speaks the truth, Majora's Mask is Kino.
Thank you. Get stuffed, Richie. What else you got for us?
Oh, Rosbra says there is a trailer for Hogwarts Legacy. Let's take a look at it. Maybe I did know that this. You know what? I do remember this. It's been so long. This came out in September of last year, and I totally forgot about it.
Okay, cool.
The Wizarding World. Avalanche, the group from Final Fantasy.
Avalanche does a lot of stuff.
Beautiful and powerful.
But yes.
Together our long history.
I was gonna say it kind of got that. It's kind of got that like Final Fantasy 15 color palette a little bit going on.
A little bit. We should probably hear some news at E3 about this for sure.
I would, yeah, to fulfill the criteria of the question here.
Oh yeah, bonus. This takes place in the late 1800s, so it's very fantasy.
Yeah, actually, cool, great. I found that that's more what I would want in a video game, is like the more pure fantasy elements.
And also kind of separates itself from like the mainline story.
Yeah, that's cool, because obviously anything that takes place in the Harry Potter universe kind of ends up inadvertently being about Harry Potter when he's alive, But this time, it's easy to see some separation there. Razabron, all the other, like Harry Potter fans out there, I think you guys are probably going to get something tasty for Hogwarts Legacy pretty soon. So
I think this looks pretty dope.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job encapsulating kind of the the look of it all. Yeah, can't complain.
An ancient knowledge long gone from
they sure showcase a lot in this trailer.
They do, actually. There's a lot going on. My stream is lagged in comparison to yours, but there's a ton, to kind of look at. No gameplay.
Yeah, looks like all cutscenes.
Yeah, we get an idea of kind of like the appearance of the world and, kind of like what things are going to look like. And that's cool. I love seeing that.
See what I mean? It's very much Skyrim Harry Potter.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's going to be Draugr, so that's cool. It's going to be Draugr ruins and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
The choices you make now.
I would be interested a little bit more in looking at what actually the video game being played looks like. But
King Ricky just subscribed. Thank you so much for subscribing.
Yes, thank you.
Live the Unwritten 2021. Oh, so it's supposed to come out this year. So we should definitely hear some news at E3 about this.
Yeah, I was going to say, unlike a lot of the other games and pretty much every single game that we've been talking about thus far, this trailer that we're seeing here is reminiscent of a game that is late in its development process. This looks very close to done. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna switch gears completely here to a game that I'm really looking forward to.
Okay.
In breaking news,
What are we looking at?
This is the trailer that came out in August for Gotham Knights.
Ah, yeah.
So this is by, this is like another open world Batman game in the style of like, Arkham City and all those games. But this time you play as all the sidekicks, so you can play as Robin, Batgirl, Red Robin, Red Hood, all of the, so Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, Jason Todd, and Barbara Gordon. And, you use all of their cool shit. And,
you know what, too? Big credit to this trailer. It shows gameplay. There's real, actual indications in this trailer of how the video game will be played.
Right, and we should definitely get some news on this at this year's E3. And man, I can't wait for this. This looks pretty sick. My name is Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I think this game's got a lot going for it. I think it's a great addition to the Batman universe. I like the 4, sort of like character method. They have a lot of very good chances that this game is going to be pretty great and pretty fun to play, I think.
Right, so, if in case you didn't get it from the trailer here, obviously Bruce is supposed to be dead, and so that's why you play as all the sidekicks. But one of the coolest things about this is that it'll have co-op multiplayer, and so you could be Robin, and your friend could be sitting on the couch next to you as Batgirl. Who knows? There's a lot of possibilities.
But it has the gear you need and all of my files.
Blah, 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 Batman.
My back when I needed you.
Blah, blah, blah.
I know you'll keep Gotham safe. Good luck. And goodbye.
Bruce Wayne dead today.
Bruce Wayne died. Yeah, Bat Dad is no more, and it's up to his gang of still very impressive sidekicks. This will be good. I don't have too much else to say about this experience, but I have a good feeling about this one.
Thank you, Stupid Beagle Reviews. Just super chatted saying, "Where's that Plumber Knight Returns video game?" Well, actually, this is probably as close as you're going to get to the feel of that. So.
Probably as close as you're going to get to that, especially considering you killed Plumber Knight in your extended Super Mario canon. So it probably would have to be a game about everybody dealing with the fact that he is dead at the hands of Rathnar Omega.
That's an interesting premise.
Okay, cool. We'll we'll workshop that.
Anyways, I just love how dope this looks. Is all.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not talking; you're just watching.
I haven't watched this in a few months, so I'm just like, ooh, this looks so good.
Yeah, I mean, like everybody's got the cool fighting style. They're all like clearly got different abilities.
Like, do you like batons? Favorite. Do you like guns? Do you like batarangs?
Yeah. Do you like Red Hood's very distinct, like, gun karate kind of thing that he does? It's like karate chops with bullets. I hope the multiplayer is good.
Love that little insertion of the Batman theme. And of course, it'll involve the Court of Owls, because what modern Batman story doesn't these days? Jesus.
Everybody loves the secret society shit.
The secret society underneath Gotham. The Court of Owls.
You like secret society shit.
I do. Anyway, so that's what that is. All right, so the last game on my list is Super Mario Odyssey 2, which we, of course, have no gameplay of, and I don't even think we have an official announcement of this, but I'm going to show some footage from Super Mario Odyssey 1, since I don't have any for Odyssey 2. But I think there's at least a 50% chance that we are going to hear news at E3 2021 of a Super Mario Odyssey 2, or at least the next major Mario platformer. What do you think? Your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, Nintendo's been winding up for a big year, right? They've been winding up for, this it's been quiet for a while. It seems like they've been able to keep, kind of on rhythm for the most part. And we just got the Bowser DLC, right? Was that?
Well, that was for 3D World, and that was an old game that was just ported to the Switch.
Gotcha. Yeah. I do wonder, because sometimes games like that end up kind of being like a testing platform for, sort of like the real deal release afterwards. Especially considering Nintendo specifically has been known to do that before, where they'll kind of like, they'll kind of benchmark an idea in the form of a smaller game and then come out swinging with the big one. I personally don't know if I'm in a position where I'd be willing to lay claim to the idea of like, oh yeah, we'll definitely see, like more announcements on the second, or I think there's a lot of proof that we'll see a lot of announcements about, the second, but I would love to see, some information about this. This is obviously really solid game here. And I think a lot of people would be very, very excited to know that a sequel is on its way. So...
Yes. And, we could get an Odyssey 2, but honestly, we never got a Super Mario 128. Not really. It turned into Pikmin. But, I just want another big Mario platformer. It's kind of been the trend for Nintendo has almost been that they make one major Mario platformer at the beginning of every console,
Right.
And I think they should honestly get away from that. I think that, I would like to see more of them. I guess I'm not really 100% sure on how the internal development departments work at Nintendo, but I think that a lot of people that work on Odyssey are...
I'm not even sure Nintendo knows.
But I'm pretty sure a lot of people that worked on Odyssey, for example, also worked on like Breath of the Wild. So I don't know how that structure works.
All those resources are delegated and shared.
Ikarim is saying
Richie,
the audio. Capital. So Ikarim, tell me, what's wrong with the audio? Is there something wrong with the audio? Something might be wrong with the audio. And I don't know what until somebody else says something. Super cool, Ikarim. Does anybody else have a problem with the audio right now?
I'm listening to the stream right now, and the trailer wasn't playing any audio.
Oh yeah, well I muted that so you could hear us. Obviously.
Gotcha.
We'll free stream on Mario being crazy here. Killjoy has super chatted and says Odyssey had jokes wanting me to fight Wedding Bowser in a snorkel and bathing suit.
See, this kind of thing is what makes me wonder about Odyssey 2, because it's kind of like, if Odyssey 2 came out, obviously, as with many things Nintendo, I would want to see that it was like a very significant mechanical improvement on the original formula. Like, right? Like, we don't want... I know there's probably a ton of people out there that like would be very, very happy to just see more of the same exact game or whatnot, but typically that's not really Nintendo's MO. They typically,
they're always trying to add something new. Like the hat mechanic in this game was obviously the new thing, as was the water blaster in like Sunshine. But I'm definitely okay with just like going back to basics, like Super Mario N64, Super Mario 64.
What did we see as far as like mechanical differences between like Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2?
Well, in Galaxy, the whole gimmick in Galaxy is that you're hopping from small planet to small planet, and it has.
Were there significant like changes as far as how that worked between 1 and 2, or are they just continuations?
I mean, not really. Just in the second one, you can ride Yoshi.
Gotcha. So to that point, let's assume let's kind of look at that model, because that's like the most recent modern model we have for like a direct sequel within one iteration of like a Mario game. Would you be satisfied if Odyssey 2 came out and it was basically that? It was.
I mean, that'd be fine. More Mario is always good. Flood. Thank you. Thank you, Nacho Taco 101. It was Flood in Super Mario Sunshine.
Gotcha.
Was the name of the thing. There's a whole... Obviously, there are so many video games. We could be talking about our speculation on the next Pokemon or the next Animal Crossing or the next, what have you. Let us know. We're going to end this stream in a couple minutes unless somebody else super chats and recommends something, because we could go in any direction.
Right. Yeah.
Was there anything you specifically wanting to see at E3 that we didn't cover?
I don't know. I mean, I'm really trying to keep my expectations very low, to be perfectly honest, just because it's clearly been such an insanely difficult year for almost every developer. I mean, everybody's struggling to get content out. Everybody's struggling to keep their teams like safe and healthy. Not only do we have the pandemic, but we're also, riding on the coattails of, it feels like every single major studio almost having some sort of like employee mistreatment controversy, where we're learning that crunch time for video games is like generally like massively exploitative as far as like the labor is concerned, at that a lot of the creative sustainability may not be the case in the industry. So a bunch of development has slowed to a crawl. This is true, and this may be a good thing in the long run. So that being said, it's like, Killjoy comes in clutch with one that I did want to talk about.
Thank you, Killjoy, the open world Pokemon game. Now, I let me know. Oh, and then we also have Mario Kart 9 from Stupid Beagle Reviews. I would like to see an open world Pokemon game. That would be really cool. Let's see, here's a video from 2013 from Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. It was just the first Pokemon thing I saw, since we're talking about Pokemon. So first we'll talk about open world Pokemon game real quick. A Pokemon open world game, and we know they can do it because they did it with Breath of the Wild. If they just basically did a Breath of the Wild style open world Pokemon.
Are we not talking about Pokemon Legends Arceus?
Oh, is that what it is? Is that what it is? Okay.
That's the one that's set like 1,000 years before Pokemon Red, right?
1 second. Oh,
Yeah.
There's an actual trailer for this. See, shows how much I've been paying attention to Pokemon. Let's take a look.
Long time ago.
Oh, so this is a real thing. Okay, I thought Killjoy was just being super speculative.
Yeah.
Will there be an open world Pokemon game? I guess there is.
Bustled with the comings and goings of people. While in the mountains,
Yeah, Pokemon Legends Arceus. It's like set in like feudal times. And it has a very odd mishmash of starters, from what I can tell. And the little ninja aesthetic looks super neat. And I don't know. This is one of those games, we don't have a lot of info on it. I would love to see more info on this personally, because as far as the mechanical premise of this could be sick.
I mean, you're walking around, you're catching Pokemon. Like, I'm wondering, since it's open world, how the battles are going to work. Like, I've got a lot of questions.
They haven't developed Pokeballs yet in this part of the history, so it's acorns.
Well, they're throwing Pokeballs now. Oh, but I guess they're like more like carved out of acorns, is what you're saying?
Yeah, they're like the original acorn style Pokeball. So
interesting.
Right, but it suddenly enters into this area. It's like, oh, theoretically, this is the thing you could craft with resources, blah blah blah, sort of thing. So who knows?
How interesting. This tells me almost nothing, but I'm very interested.
Yeah, exactly. We need more information.
It even said at the bottom just now, it gave us a warning, no actual gameplay footage. Oh, I'm going to pause it there. Well, I'm going to back up just a second so we get a clear... So here's the Pokeball here. It looks like it's fashioned out of wood, possibly the acorn that Garrett mentioned. And it looks like it's got a latch. It's a very, very, like... It looks almost like, like medieval style Pokeball. That is really cool. So
also, did you see that starter list?
I did not. Sorry, I must have missed that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a Gen 2 starter, a Gen 5 starter, and a Gen 3 starter.
Oh, you mean okay? I thought you meant the physical list. I saw the Pokemon. Yeah. So
yeah.
All right. Well, that looks really cool. So hopefully we get more information about that at E3 as well. So this was February this trailer came out, but this really flew over my head. The only Pokemon news I was paying attention to was Pokemon Snap, which I already did a couple Let's Plays of. So no wonder. I think somebody even mentioned Arceus in Pokemon Snap, and I was like, Arceus, I don't know what you're talking about. Because that's the problem with video game news. There's so much of it that if you don't spend all day on YouTube looking it up, you're gonna miss it. So yeah, and that includes me.
Fair.
All right, so
Mario Kart 9 and Ruined King is the two we have to talk about real quick. I don't think we're going to see Mario Kart 9 for what it's worth.
So yeah, Mario Kart 9 is just a rumor at this point.
Yeah, Mario Kart 9. And you know what? I think that's okay. I honestly think that is okay. We have in our disposal, in my own humble opinion, the greatest Mario Kart that has ever existed.
In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe?
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the best the franchise
Well, yeah,
has ever
it's
been.
definitely the best Mario Kart to ever kart.
Yeah, it's the best Mario to ever kart, for sure. And I think it's the height of the franchise. I think it still has a lot of legs as far as that's concerned. I would like to see maybe... I would like to see maybe a DLC for 8 before we go straight to 9. I would like, I could very much do with like a new driver pack or like maybe a fun Super Smash Brothers style. Like,
I don't think we're gonna get one because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe already had all of the DLC come with it. That's why it was deluxe.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Anyway. I don't know. It's that same thing before where it was kind of like, I don't want another rehashing of a Nintendo franchise if they're not going to like significantly alter the mechanics. And then that makes it a little bit weird because it's like, oh, well, if they are, then obviously I have no idea what that's going to look like and it's hard to speculate. But I'm very happy with the state of like where things are at with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I would rather see those people be working on other franchises. So I don't know, but if it happens, then great. If not, then I'm not going to be super sour if I have to spend another year or two with Mario Kart 8.
Right. Well, I think obviously Mario Kart 9 is one of those like inevitable things. We're going to get a Mario Kart 9 at some point.
It'll happen, yeah.
But will we see it at E3? Probably not.
Highly doubt it.
It's just that the problem with Mario Kart 8 is that it was a Nintendo Wii U game that was basically ported over to the Switch. So we still don't technically have a Mario Kart 9, like a Mario Kart game exclusive to
dedicated to Switch.
Which kind of makes me feel like we will get Mario Kart 9 in the next couple years. Whether or not it's going to be at E3 2021, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. If they got something fresh and new to hit me with, then I am here and I am ready and I am willing. But
okay. What was the next game on our super chat list?
It's not going to be one that you knew too much about, but it's Ruined King, which is by the League of Legends people, and it's set in like the League of Legends universe. But it's a I think kind of like a Diablo kind of game, but combat is like turn-based. I don't know. I think it looks cool. I'm not somebody who's like super invested in a lot of like the League of Legends characters and lore, and I'm really hoping that game is going to put out something that is like cool in a way that someone like me would be able to enjoy it.
I have never played League of Legends.
I played a bit of League of Legends, but I didn't really get quite as invested as a lot of other people are. I feel like a lot of League content very justifiably leans on its characters, as far as like they've got this insane 150 plus character repertoire, all with like flushed out lore, all with flushed out shit, and it seems to me like they're just kind of going through a bunch of different ways for you to play as those people in different contexts.
EDMG7 says, we have a proper Switch Mario Kart. It's the AR one with the toy cars. And I would argue that is not a proper Mario Kart game. That is gimmick to the max.
Yeah. So I don't know. I want Ruined King. I really hope Ruined King is like cool and fun in its own respect, and not just like another place where League of Legends fans can go to play their characters in different ways. Otherwise, I probably will not play it. But Riot's got money, and Riot's out there, and has definitely shown their willingness to be brave and innovative with designs. I just don't. We have absolutely nothing to go off as far as their ability to handle things outside of like a multiplayer environment.
Right. I want to quickly mention before we cut this off that I think that we will possibly get some news and or footage from the next God of War game, which would be God of War 5, also known as God of War 2, confusingly. because they just called God of War
Ragnarok.
4 God of War. God of War, and
I know.
don't
We've already got a God of War 2 like many, many years ago, and now we're getting another God of War 2.
It's so confusing. But now he's older. Kratos is older. He's got a kid, and it's more Norse mythology now, whereas the original games were Greek mythology. So, it's a little bit different. But I mean, I'm excited for anything Kratos.
I was going to say God of War, the remake won Game of the Year 2019. Yeah.
What's up now?
God of War, the original, or not the original, but like the remake that we are now proposing the sequel of. That was like a Game of the Year, right?
Sorry, I still didn't pay attention to you because I was looking up this No More Heroes
Richie,
3
don't
trailer.
ask it. God dang it. God of War won Game of the Year.
Oh yes, it did. Yes.
Thank you. So I don't know. More God of War is great. Ragnarok is going to be incredible, I think, by all accounts. I think it's off my radar just a tiny bit because it's like I've already kind of reconciled that it's going to happen when it's going to happen, and like it'll be really good when it does. So
we got a super chat from DZD for No More Heroes 3. So I found this video.
No More Heroes 3.
I've never played No More Heroes, but this says it's a No More Heroes 3 trailer.
No More Heroes is really fun. It's really goofy.
Well,
It's got like Fooly Cooly vibes.
All right, well that's what that is. All right.
Yeah. I personally am not like a huge No More Heroes 3 kind of guy, but I have friends who are, so I will be I will be happy for them.
Just gonna point out we got this trailer 6 days ago for Mario Golf Super Rush.
Game of golf. With easy to learn controls, anyone
And it is what it is. Anyways, all right, I think that pretty much covers everything that we wanted to talk about.
I've heard that Mario Golf game is incredible, so it's just, I don't know. It's not something I would say that I am hype about.
Thanks to simple button.
Okay, I guess that's gonna do it for us. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for us. As always, I am Rich Alvarez. Thank you for watching my stream. We will be streaming again probably Wednesday night with some more Fall Guys, and it's going to be great. All right, I will see you guys.
Oh, yeah, for whoever asked about Fall Guys, it's Wednesday.
Later. Bye-bye.
Bye.